see my.
Maybe not.
Look.
So,
Look.
anyway, back when Mommy and Daddy were little, if you wanted to use the phone, it was plugged into the wall, and it had a cord on it, so you couldn't walk away from the wall. You had to stand there and talk to somebody. And you didn't know.
How come you had to, you couldn't walk away?
Because it had a cord, and as long as the cord was, that's as far as you could go.
And how come?
If you were real fancy, you had a long cord.
No.
And guess what? We never knew who was calling. You know how when Grandma calls, a picture of Grandma pops up on my phone? When the phone rang, you never knew who was going to be talking on the other end. When I used to call Daddy, he'd say, "Who's this?" Because he didn't know.
And how come those phones that you would probably walk away too strong enough, the cord would fling back and hit the back of your face.
Actually, if you walked too far away from the phone would fling back towards the wall.
And it would damage
like a spring. It would fly.
Fly like an airplane?
Yeah, kind of like an airplane.
Wait, we come high up in the air, and then they hit the window, and then they...
Hang on a second. Go over to where the light switch is in the kitchen.
By the knives.
I don't want to get cut.
No.
Don't touch the knives. Just go over there. Go stand by the purple cup.
But people would see me.
Do you see the outlet? Or not the outlet, the switch right there? Where you turn the light on and off?
Next to it?
Now you see that other one right next to it? What is that?
That is the phone jack that you plug the cord into.
How come you had to sit up on the counter and then you had to take the soda? How come you had to sit up on the counter answering the...
Well, you know what? When Mommy and Daddy got to be a little bit older, they came out with cordless phones, so you could actually walk away from the wall. And then a little bit later, they had a little box that you could plug into the phone, and it would tell you who's calling. It was called Caller ID, but you had to pay extra for that. And at first, you couldn't, if you missed somebody's phone call, you never knew that they called. You just missed it. They couldn't leave a message.
What's Daddy? What?
Because we had to have an answering machine.
Don't do that.
What's the answering machine?
An answering machine is another little box that you had to plug into your phone, and it would record a message if somebody called and you missed their call.
Would record what they said?
Mm-hmm. Kind of like how we get voicemails now, where you can leave a message for somebody. It was kind of like that, but it was, most of the time at first, it was a whole separate thing that you had to plug into your phone. What do you think of that?
How come they kept coming up with new phones and then they kept coming up with new phones?
Because it wasn't very convenient.
What does convenient mean?
It wasn't very useful. It was much better if you could take the phone with you, or if you could tell who was calling when they called, or if they could leave a message when they called.
If your phone rang when you were driving away and you missed it.
Yep, you totally missed it. If you weren't home and somebody called you, you missed it. And the other thing, if somebody was, like if Mommy was on the phone talking to Daddy and somebody else tried to call one of us, they couldn't get through. It would just give you a beep, 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 and you had to keep calling them back.
What, Mom? They wouldn't call?
Well, they didn't know you called because they're just talking on the phone. They had no idea that somebody else was trying to call them.
Watch, Mom. Watch. My superhero phone. How come Here's food in the fridge. And what?
How come what?
How come the this my paper airplane? There's food all the way to hit the window. How could you? I hit two of them.
Hang on, guess what? When we were little, we didn't even have the internet.
Why? How come you had no internet and you couldn't watch?
Nobody had internet. We couldn't watch videos. We couldn't look up pictures of kittens. Nothing.
Why?
We couldn't find free coloring pages on the internet to color all day.
Why?
Because there was no internet. There was no Google.
Where's Google? So you couldn't find out where you were.
You couldn't ask Google anything. You had to use a book and hope that somebody wrote it down somewhere.
I don't have a book. Like where they had to find their way and they write it where they turned and where they went.
That's called a map.
Look, Dad. I'm in a superhero poops. Oh no, my superhero doesn't superhero like here.
It's mind-boggling, isn't it, Alex?
You know what the most mind-boggling thing is? Your parents are old.
You know what's even more mind-boggling?
Yeah.
That our parents had to walk to school up hills both ways. Figure that one out. Up the hill to school both ways.
Then the robots did.